Regis and Kathy Lee are getting ready for the holidays with some terrific guests this week on Live. Husband and wife team Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee. Teen heartthrob Brian Austin Green from Beverly Hills 90210. And pop star Bruce Hornsby.
Like to make you shake and shiver.
We'll also welcome Fran Drescher, the funniest nanny on television. On Friday, it's a very special Christmas Eve show, complete with Santa and his elves. That's this week on Live.
Monday at 10 on News Channel 5.
Have you been looking for jewelry in fancy stores that dazzle you with spotlights and mirrors? Salespeople on commission and jewelry mumbo-jumbo you don't understand? These rings were purchased in those stores for $300 to $1,000. At Volks, they're $50 to $199. I have all kinds of unclaimed, out-of-pawn jewelry at enormous savings. Don't buy jewelry anywhere until you see me, Bert K. At Volks, 417 Prospect, right downtown.
Parents and generous viewers, listen up. Warnings about a local toy ad and a so-called charity.
On your side, Monday on Live on 5.
Year-end tax tips and Linda Hirsch on the Monday Morning Exchange.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Boyd Matson.
Good morning. I'm Thalia Shuras. And in the news at this hour, no comment from House Ways and Means Chair Dan Rostenkowski on allegations that his friends got federal salaries for little or no work. The Clinton administration rules out additional cuts in Social Security. The chair, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, personally reviews the American troops in Somalia and the plans for their withdrawal. Also coming up for you in this half hour, we'll have weather and sports as always. A reporter's notebook from ABC's Ann Compton on the refugees in the former Yugoslavia. And we will check the morning papers and a few other things. A few surprises coming up for you. We begin with the top of the news. Boyd?
One of Washington's most influential congressmen is keeping quiet about new allegations of misconduct. House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Dan Rostenkowski has been under federal investigation in connection with the House Post Office scandal. The latest allegations say the Illinois congressman kept a phony federal payroll going for years. We get more from ABC's Sheila Cast.
The new investigation goes beyond allegations that the powerful Chicago congressman converted stamps from the House Post Office into cash and looks at how he used his congressional payroll. The Chicago Sun-Times reported that Rostenkowski used taxpayer money for salaries to workers who did not show up and to tenants in buildings owned by his family. For example, Alderman Terry Gabinski is a protege of Rostenkowski. His wife, Celeste, reportedly remained on the congressional payroll for 5 years and nearly $80,000 after co-workers said she left the office. Rostenkowski's daughter, Gail Roston's name showed up on the city council's payroll about the same time the future Mrs. Gabinski started working for Rostenkowski. Another example. Next door to the congressman's Chicago home, a tenant in this building owned by Rostenkowski's family is listed in congressional records as earning $7,000 in the late 1980s. But the tenant told the Sun-Times she received no money and did no work for Rostenkowski. In Washington, the mounting allegations have not eroded Rostenkowski's support.
Well, I think that Chairman Rostenkowski has still been very productive.
Rostenkowski's lawyer, Robert Bennett, told ABC News there were no kickbacks. All these people did work, he said. The newspaper said a federal grand jury here is investigating Rostenkowski's payroll practices. He's raising money not just for his own legal fees, but for many of those former employees. Sheila Cast, ABC News, Washington.
The Clinton administration is taking a hands-off approach to Social Security benefits. Treasury Secretary Lloyd Bentsen said yesterday that any additional cuts in Social Security are being ruled out. That includes any further benefit reductions on the wealthy or any discussion of eliminating cost of living increases. But with Americans living longer, Bentsen supported looking into eventually raising the age at which they begin receiving Social Security checks, possibly to the age 68 by the year 2006.
And the Clinton administration is giving its first hints about where Defense Secretary Les Aspin will go when he leaves the Pentagon. White House officials say Aspin could be in line to become the next U.S. ambassador to China. On ABC's This Week with David Brinkley yesterday, White House Chief of Staff Mac McLarty said the China post is just one possibility.
He has experience in the foreign policy area, one of the best minds, and I think that door is open, particularly after Secretary Ashton takes, as he put it,
the door to China is open.
A door to a number of opportunities in this administration, perhaps including that one.
Aspen's resignation from the Pentagon takes effect on January the 20th.
American troops in Somalia are getting an in-person holiday greeting from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. General John Shalikashvili is in Mogadishu to review plans for completing the withdrawal of American troops from Somalia by March 31st. Hundreds of American troops have been coming home from Somalia since Friday. Yesterday, a New Hampshire town turned out to welcome home an American who was wounded and held hostage in Somalia. ABC's Kathy Wolf was there.
He is Berlin, New Hampshire's favorite son. Chief Warrant Officer Michael Durant, who grew up here, was given a hero's welcome.
He's a hometown boy, and we're a small town, and we just like to see our friends come home.
The festivities began with the Durant's arrival at a local airstrip. Friends listened with pride as the helicopter pilot thanked them for their support.
I have to mention prayer because prayer was such an important thing for me and my family, and I know a lot of you out there did a lot of that.
A lot of prayer and a lot of preparation for his homecoming. But life as an American hero can be demanding, as Michael Durant has learned. After 11 weeks of intense public scrutiny, he's looking forward to getting some rest. Durant was held hostage for 11 days while he suffered from a broken leg and back injuries. He was the only one to survive a gun battle which left 18 Americans dead. Since his release, he has had many emotional moments. He described one with the wife of a fellow soldier who died.
And she said that I survived so that her husband's death had meaning. The fact that I was here meant that he didn't die for nothing.
With the celebration over, people in this quiet town have vowed to let Michael Durant spend a private holiday at his parents' home so that he and his family will have what everyone wants at Christmas, peace. Kathy Wolf, ABC News, Berlin, New Hampshire.
Okay, so what do you do when a bad hair day turns permanently bad? Well, Laurel Boyer of Washington State sued her hairdresser, complaining the perm she received, in her words, had fried her hair. Boyer said even the judge agreed her hair looked terrible, but instead of the $2,500 Boyer had demanded, the judge awarded her exactly, and listen to this, $837.29. Boyer said obviously the judge doesn't realize, as she put it, how much a girl's hair means to her.
More familiar with the prices at the Hair Club for Men. Turning to today's national weather forecast, while skies will be sunny in the west, much of the east can expect stormy conditions. Snow is moving over the Great Lakes. Showers develop over the southeast. Highs in most of the south will be below normal in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. World News Now National Temperature Index, 465 Fahrenheit, 240 Celsius. Now here's some forecasts while we check out holiday decorations in Vietnam.
World News Now weather, brought to you by Gold Bond Medicated Powder.
The heat rash is itchy and red. Gosh, that uncomfortable, itchy feeling.
Regina Marquis is telling us about Triple Action Gold Bond Medicated Powder.
With Gold Bond powder, I feel more comfortable. It's just kept me feeling cool and fresh.
Gold Bond's Triple Action is the absorbing action of powder, the medicating action of a proven itch fighter, and the drying action of zinc oxide.
Medication and Gold Bond powder is what makes it important to me.
Try Triple Action Gold Bond Medicated Powder.
If you have problems falling asleep, now your world is about to change. Introducing Unisom Sleep Gels with a special liquid center. They're maximum strength, so they're as effective as anything you can get without a prescription. They help you fall asleep fast and wake up refreshed. If you have problems falling asleep, try new maximum strength Unisom Sleep Gels. A remarkable new idea from Unisom.
World News Now Sports, brought to you by Unisom.
Okay, folks, turn up the volume on your set because from Tokyo we bring you the 13th annual year-end shouting contest, where the aim is to shout the loudest about something that bothered you during the past year. Here we go. Last gentleman. Awake yet? The last guy you saw won the $900 first prize by shouting about how he ripped his brand new pants. Okay. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf plays for the Denver Nuggets. In college, he was known as Chris Jackson, as you know, probably, before his conversion to Islam. Abdul-Rauf suffers from the nerve disorder known as Tourette syndrome. And as we hear in our sports feature from ESPN's Shelley Smith, every time he steps on the court, he has to struggle against this disorder. We've added the scores for you.
Tourette syndrome is a neurological disorder which Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf battles every minute of his life.
Sometimes, you know, it gets so bad to where the emotions are so much that, you know, it just makes you cry sometimes because you're so exhausted. You say, man, I can't help myself, man. It's so difficult to explain. I can't even find the words sometimes to explain it.
It plays a brutal game with his mind, where everything, even the smallest task, like tying his shoes, must feel just right, must feel perfect before he can move on.
There are times where when I get up in the morning, I'm trying to get to practice, and it takes me a long time to put on my sock. Then I have to deal with my shoe. And before, I have to deal with putting on my pants, like putting it through my leg, and I throw it on the floor, I put it back, and then I'm getting out the house, trying to get out the house, and I'm touching the doorknob. And I'm back and forth touching this because it doesn't feel right. Then I get in the car, it's the ignition. So I'm doing a lot of work before I even get to practice. Well, that wasn't right because
that didn't sound right.
It felt like it was going off. See,
but it looked perfect to me. But to you,
but to
it was
me,
off.
Right? Because when I shot, I thought it was off. So I have to shoot it to where I'm thinking it's going in and it goes in, and it didn't do that. But I may do this, and I want them to hit it all at the same time, and it may hit my pinky. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So I'm trying to get that feel. It has to feel just right.
2 years ago, Mahmoud became a Muslim, believing Islam to be a religion based on perfection that could help him deal with a disorder that demands the same.
I feel that God has given me not only basketball, but Islam to cope with what I'm doing in life. And that's how I've been able to deal with my Tourette's and every other part of my life.
That's something else. That's sports for this half hour.
Coming up, ABC's Ann Compton on the agony of refugees in Croatia.
ABC's World News Now will continue after this from our ABC stations.
Hi, I'm Len Tolliver.
And I'm Ralph Poole.
We're here to tell you about a store that's cool.
The name of the place is
Majestic Jewelry and Loan, 4856 Northfield Road. Bracelets, rings, pendants, and chains, and their prices won't give you no pains. Bring in the old, they'll design something new. Broken stuff can be repaired for you. 4856 Northfield Road. That's where you'll find the Majestic Store. The prices are lower.
And the lots of fun.
Majestic Jewelry and Loan.
They're number one.
Majestic Jewelry and Loan.
They're number one.
Inside the walls of New Life Community, many homeless people have found shelter and a chance at a new beginning. Hello, I'm Lorna Barrett. This is one of the job training programs at New Life that offer people like Melissa and Essie the training they need for a new start. As they successfully leave New Life, others are waiting. Please give them a chance. Send a generous donation to the address on your screen. Help someone find a home for the holidays. Together, we can continue to make a difference for them.
We're now heading into our second winter of looking at the pictures of the suffering in Bosnia-Herzegovina. We've seen the faces of the innocent victims of this bloody conflict, reminding us of just how senseless war can be. As the world looks on from the safety of warm living rooms, there's an outcry that somebody needs to do something, that this has to stop, but mostly the outcry has been confined to talk. No one has yet found a way to end the fighting, and neither has there been a way to get sufficient relief supplies to the victims. Food, fuel, and medicine are all in short supply. It's almost impossible to airlift these items into Sarajevo, but some flights have made it into other parts of the former Yugoslavia. ABC's Ann Compton went on one recent Americares flight on which former First Lady Barbara Bush also traveled. Here are some of Ann's impressions of that trip.
Most relief flights cannot get permission to fly through Bosnia's no-fly zone into Sarajevo, which is still under almost daily mortar attack. Even with 71,430 pounds aboard of desperately needed antibiotics, anesthesia, catheters, bandages, the cargo jet which brought us into the former Yugoslavia headed for the next best thing, the city of Split on Croatia's Adriatic coast. We had no fears for our safety. The shelling is more than an hour away from here. But the refugees from the fighting are here, and they need much of the medicines and medical equipment unloaded on giant pallets. I was surprised to find when we landed that American Air Force personnel were under the wing, waiting to offload the relief supplies. They're stationed not far away in Zagreb, Croatia. The arrangements had been made for us to ride with Barbara Bush as she delivered some supplies to refugee camps in the hills around Split. There was no access to go instead with the founder of the Americares operation, Bob McCauley. The tough-minded entrepreneur who has already sent in $45 million worth of medical supplies was determined to fly with the rest of this shipment into Sarajevo on board a French military plane that had clearance to make one quick trip in that afternoon. McCauley said he wasn't trying to be a hero, that he can do more to help alive than dead, but for a decade of mercy missions all over the globe, he has refused to take no for an answer.
Terry and I went down to see Elie Wiesel 2 weeks ago, and he and Barbara and I formed to save Sarajevo. And we got talking about philosophy. It was kind of interesting. And he said, Bob, he said, what do you think is the greatest of all the commandments? And I hesitated for a minute. He said, I'll tell you what the greatest was. It's from the book of Leviticus. And it said, thou shalt not stand idly by. I got tears in my eyes. Do you know him very well?
No.
You should watch that man.
So you're not standing idly by?
No, I founded Americares because we didn't stand idly by. We've shipped $800 million worth of aid to 83 countries, so that's the best I can do. I can't do any more than 800 million. If you got some ideas, Ed, you tell me.
We headed off in a small caravan, resorting to the same method of transportation that UN convoys have had to use. We had to cross no borders, so we didn't encounter any of the hassles or the extortion that have slowed, even stopped UN shipments into the battle zones. As bleak as the first outpost looked, with foreboding winter just setting in, the refugee camp at Bisko was not a miserable place. It's one of the rare sites that has hot running water and plenty of hot food. What we soon discovered is that the medical crisis here is not something you treat with antibiotics and bandages. It is despair, depression. These are educated, middle-class people, purged from their homes by ethnic cleansing, trapped for more than a year with no work, no hope, no home. Is there an end to it?
Da li će tome biti kraj?
No. Neće, ovo će trajati još dugo.
It's going to last for a long time.
Dugo. I ne vidi se izlaz iz toga.
And we can't find the escape from this. We can't find solution. Mi volu da se vratimo što prije.
No.
We would like to come as soon as
Ali
it's
nema
possible.
više života, vraća se i druge strane, onak nema više života zajedničkog.
But the question is how the life is going to look, because the other side is planning to come back as well. Yeah.
Jer učinjeno mnogo zlo jedni drugome i zato.
A lot of damage and evil things have been done.
Is it going to be a long time that you're going to be here?
Mislite da ćete ovdje dugo ostati?
Ne znamo ništa.
We don't know anything.
Ovdje su godinu dana.
Ovdje smo već godinu i pol.
We are here for a year and a half, and it's already long time.
Nemam se gdje vrat kad mi je kuća izgorila, sve mi izgorila.
I don't have a place to go back because my house has been burned down.
Did you see the house burn down?
Jeste li vidjeli kada mi je kuća gorila?
Yes, seen.
My son has seen it.
Yeah. So here and then maybe someday it will get better?
Možda će jednog dana ipak biti bolje.
No. I mi se nadamo sad.
We hope so, but...
Ja, i mi se nadamo da bude bolje.
We hope so, it is going to be better, but...
Doctors at every camp told us that depression is becoming a nightmare.
They are very nervous. They want to work. They have nothing to work. And there are many young people there, understand? And children. We have no enough place for meetings, for sitting, for watching television, for playing cards or something. We have no room, no big room.
How did you come here?
How? Me?
Yeah.
To work. I'm refugee from Sarajevo. Yeah. And I come here in Dalmatia on 22nd of June last year with my 3 children. My husband was killed in the beginning of the war.
In the fighting?
Yeah. And I come here with my children. And now, then I get job of humanitarian organization to work with refugees. And we have a good relationship with their hospitals in Croatia, and with our colleagues in Croatia. And we want to help our people and some other people who need help, if we as we could.
Do you think Americans really understand the seriousness of this and to some extent the hopelessness of no resolution in sight?
I must tell you something. In our people, we say, if you are not hungry, you cannot understand me as I'm hungry. You can understand it? Yeah. If you are in this situation, you can understand me, but I believe you will not.
Yeah. Doctor, thank you.
We want to stop the war and to come home, to come back to our country and to live in peace. It's the biggest problem, you know.
The problems are not as evident in the thousands of children living in refugee camps. Their voices sound like children's voices everywhere.
There's one. Come on. There you go. There you go. All right. One. I got you. That's it. There you go. Hello, young lady. Who are you?
We were not surprised when word reached us that Bob McCauley could not get his medical supplies into Sarajevo that day. The French military plane was held on the ground at Split because shelling at Sarajevo proved to be the bloodiest attack in more than a month. I was left with the thought of what it must be like for those still trapped in Bosnia, reachable by mortars, but not by medicines. At these refugee camps, there are no explosions in the night, no snipers down the street. There may be no hot water, no privacy, but there is also no hunger, no death. There is also, for now, no hope that it will end soon. Ann Compton, ABC News, near Split, Croatia.
That was ABC's Ann Compton on relief efforts for refugees in Croatia.
This is World News Now.
Good night.
Olga.
Now watch this. Watch this.
Nadia. Mary Lou.
What a gymnast.
Gymnastics' greatest stars are now available on a 90-minute home video from ABC Sports. Acclaimed for its coverage of the world's most important gymnastics championships, you'll witness historic performances from 1968 through 1984, many in their entirety, plus highlights from recent stars, exclusively from the ABC Sports Archives. This tape will bring back heartfelt memories for many, and to the next generation, it offers a rare glimpse at gymnastics' historic past.
On the victory platform stands little Kathy Rigby.
And Kurt Thomas is becoming one of the American superstars.
He can nail it. There's a dislocate through to 1, 2, 3. Great routine for Nene.
Beautiful, and she can do it.
The Americans don't seem to shake anymore.
There it is.
She did it.
10, the gold medal. The gold medal goes to Mary Lou Retton.
Half in, half out. Little save, but that's a nail landing for Mitch Gaylord.
Now you can own a piece of history. Phone 1-800-CALL-ABC. Gymnastics' Greatest Stars is only $24.98 plus $3.95 shipping and handling. Charge it on your Visa card. It's toll-free. 1-800-CALL-ABC.
This is that time of the day when we take a look at some of the headlines that may be in your morning papers, maybe some of the photographs as well, and we always tell you about the magazines on Monday because we get to see them before they go on your newsstands. But as you can tell, we've got some other stuff here, bit of a surprise for you. I'll tell you about that in just a second. Interesting Time magazine cover, and actually interesting cover story, and that, what this story says, if you can't see it, it says that 69% of Americans believe that angels truly do exist. That's what the Time survey has said, and so there's this fascination from the grassroots level with angels, and they're appearing on pins and calendars, and all sorts of new books on angels and so on.
And where were they on this show when we needed our guardian angel to help us earlier in the broadcast? Let me show you one photo. This is the time when a lot of people are hitting the shopping areas. This woman loaded down with Christmas presents. Some of you, though, may not be as far along as she is. She says she only has one more gift to go. You may be like me and have done nothing.
Exactly.
We have some tips for you.
Uh-huh.
The Richard Nixon Presidential Library and Birthplace has sent out their catalog, and of course, we have ordered.
Yep, we have.
And let me just begin with an item that I love. This is a birdhouse.
It is, really.
Here's the entrance for the little birds in here.
No
But
back
this is the
door,
model
though.
of Richard Nixon's birthplace outside of Whittier, California.
Oh, is that what it was based on? I find it
This is
interesting.
the
There's
only
only
thing
one
that's not
entrance.
labeled, but a lot of things are labeled.
They are labeled, and, you know, we couldn't afford the watch. However, there is a T-shirt version of the watch. Believe it or not, Richard Nixon and the King. The President and the King. No joke, folks. This is it.
From an actual photograph of when they shook hands.
I didn't realize they were both about the same height. Did you? They are.
No, I didn't. In that photo, they are.
Yeah.
You can have the china. This is the presidential china in case you want dessert plates or dinner plates. These sell for about $55 a piece. And I'm sorry, I keep turning this to the wrong camera, but here you go. You get the presidential logo, and you get the Richard Nixon signature. They also sell this for other presidents, too. You can look through. This happens to be for the 37th president.
And if you're a sports sort of person, you get the hat signed by Richard Nixon. And along with the hat, if you want,
you can get golf balls in case you want to wear that on the golf course. Has the presidential logo at the birthplace. And he also sells a baseball that he autographs.
Oh, yeah?
Remember when Johnny Bench got in trouble for selling his for $50, saying they were overpriced? The President Nixon's are $300. $300.
And if you're really hopeful, think of this one. That's the news for this half hour.
You can stay tuned for more of this or World News This Morning.
More insomniacs get their news from World News Now than from any other source.
Now, from News Channel 5, Cleveland's live 24-hour news source continues.
Good morning, I'm Mike Spatura. It was a day hotel guests in Willoughby will never forget. Fire raced through the pool area of the Harley Hotel in that community. About 100 guests had to be evacuated. 2 firefighters were injured. Meanwhile, several people are homeless after a house fire near East 78th and Cedar. And cloudy Monday with the chance of showers and snow showers in Cleveland. More news in an hour.
Highland Floral has an unbelievable selection of Scotch pines at one low price, $18.69. Highland Floral has thousands of beautiful poinsettias in their 1/3 acre greenhouse. Highland Floral also has a full line of Christmas wreaths and roping. So bring your family to Highland Floral and save on Christmas trees and accessories. Selected Scotch pines at one low price. Buy your Christmas tree at Highland Floral, located on Wilson Mills, 1/2 mile west of I-271 in Highland Heights. Phone 442-9093.
Hi, I'm Don Webster. We've just completed the first classroom portion of our weather school project. And News Channel 5 would like to thank the thousands of teachers and their students who participated. Thanks for making weather school a big success. We know that dedicated teachers like you are truly making a difference in the lives of our children. And we at News Channel 5 are happy to help you advance science education in your schools. Thanks to our sponsors, the Illuminating Company, Superior Dairy, and Archway Cookies. And once again, thanks to you. Together, we're making a difference for our children.
Leisure Time Warehouse is liquidating hundreds of billiard and game tables just in time for Christmas. Choose from 35 different slate pool tables from $6.99, and installation is free. You can have lots of family fun with a game table, air hockey, or foosball table, all priced at 30 to 50% off. Choose from hundreds of quality bar stools in solid oak and beautiful fabric. So for your family fun this holiday season, hurry to Leisure Time Warehouse today.
Where news comes first on News Channel 5, Cleveland's 24-hour news source.
Hello from New York, everyone. I'm Tanya Schuris.
And good morning. I'm Boyd Matson. In the news in this hour, the Clinton administration rules out more cuts in Social Security benefits. Israel and the PLO failed to produce a breakthrough in negotiations on implementing their peace agreement. The California leader of the NAACP comes out in support of Michael Jackson, calling him a victim of the media. Also coming up in this half hour, we will check weather and sports. Our Brinkley Roundtable recap is a discussion of aftermaths from the resignation of Les Aspin to the Russian elections. And we'll get all of the morning's business news from Asia, but we begin, as always, with the top of the news. Thalia.
The Clinton administration is offering some assurances to Social Security recipients. Treasury Secretary Lloyd Bentsen said yesterday there are no plans for additional cuts in Social Security, and that includes any further benefit reductions for the wealthy. The administration also ruled out tinkering with cost of living increases. Those ideas had been mentioned as possible ways to help reduce the federal deficit. Good news on the deficit was included in a weekend administration push to underline some encouraging economic developments. With that, here's ABC's Michelle Norris.
While shoppers hit the stores in force on the last weekend before Christmas, the Clinton administration was busy putting a positive spin on the economy. Administration officials said they got an early holiday present, a federal deficit smaller than what was expected.
What has happened is for the first time in many, many years, we see a deficit that has come in below or under projections, not above projections.
Treasury Secretary Lloyd Bentsen said the economy will continue to pick up steam in 1994.
I think that what you'll see next year is something on the order of a 3% growth in domestic product. And that's good. That creates jobs. I also think you're going to see inflation stay low.
President Clinton did his part to help stimulate the economy over the weekend, picking up a few holiday gifts in a Washington shopping mall. In his weekly radio address, the president said the economy was well on the way to recovery, and as proof, he ticked off a list of encouraging trends.
Interest rates are at historic lows. Inflation is down. We've had 4 straight months of rising housing starts, and last month there was a 19-year low in the number of people who were late in their home mortgage payments.
Shoppers still had mixed feelings about the economy.
It's a terrible situation. There's no jobs promised to nobody after Christmas.
For me, yeah, I think it's getting better. They have more money to purchase things.
And some economists warn that the recovery could be short-lived.
On the one hand, the president is saying that the economy is moving along nicely, which would suggest that he should leave it alone. But on the other hand, he's preparing to give it a whack. And the whack is going to be the taxes to finance health care.
So the optimism of this holiday season could go flat if President Clinton hits voters with another tax increase next year. And he may have to play Scrooge in coming months
if he's forced to take money away from existing domestic programs to help fund his health care package and to balance military spending. Michelle Norris, ABC News, Washington.
Top Israeli and PLO officials have wrapped up 2 days of talks in Norway aimed at salvaging their peace agreement. Israel's Foreign Minister Shimon Peres and senior PLO officials left Oslo yesterday without reporting any breakthroughs. But Norwegian mediators said the two sides would meet again in a few days. Israel and the PLO are trying to settle disputes over implementing details of Palestinian self-rule. The Israeli army has begun releasing Palestinians who had spent a year in exile in southern Lebanon. Nearly 200 Palestinians were taken into custody last week as they returned from Lebanon to the occupied territories. Israel and Arabs report 132 Palestinians were freed yesterday. More are expected to be released today, but it's reported that up to 60 may be put on trial for anti-Israeli crimes.
A trial by a jury of your peers. That's a right Americans may take for granted. For decades, it's been a right denied to Russian defendants. But a new law passed in July gives Russians accused of several types of serious crimes the right to request a jury trial in some courts. That law has now had a chance to work, and we get the results from ABC's David Ensor.
Two young brothers, Artur and Alexander Martinov, are accused in a Saratov courtroom of the premeditated murder of 3 men. Maximum possible sentence, a bullet in the back of the head. For the first time in over 70 years, though, they have the right to trial by jury. 9 women and 3 men are the first Russian jury. The brothers plead self-defense.
I ask you to believe me. I was drunk. I didn't kill anybody, and that's the honest truth.
But the Russian prosecutor, they wear uniforms, says the brothers used an axe against the 3 victims. Then it emerges in court that another man, a man the court has declared insane, was in the house too that night and brutally kicked the victims after they were on the floor, casting doubt as to who really killed them. Mid-trial, the prosecutor, worried about proving his case to a jury, reduces the charges to excessive use of force in self-defense. The jury agrees, and the judge gives one brother 18 months and the other 1 year in jail. For the Martinov brothers, trial by Russia's first jury was definitely the right choice. David Ensor, ABC News, Moscow.
A vote of confidence for the embattled Michael Jackson. West Coast officials of the NAACP hold a news conference today to speak out in a show of support for the pop star. In a press release, the West Coast director of the civil rights group calls Jackson a victim of media bashing. Jackson has been named in a civil lawsuit that accuses him of molesting a 13-year-old boy.
Let's take a look at today's national weather forecast for you. It is the start of a stormy week for the east. Showers will develop over much of the south, as you can see. Snow moving across the Great Lakes and North Dakota. As for the temperatures, they'll range from the teens in the northern plains to 80s in southwest Florida. The World News Now National Temperature Index, there it is right there. And now look at winter in Vermont while we check a local forecast for you.
World News Now weather, brought to you by Thrifty Car Rental.
In 47 BC, Cleopatra herself rented the very first luxurious caravan from Thrifty for a mere bag of sand. Today, Thrifty Car Rental still offers historically low rates on caravans, this time on Dodge caravans. Simply check your phone book for the Thrifty location nearest you. Fact is, Thrifty's been renting cars at low prices and giving royal treatment since the very beginning. Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates.
My underarms burn a lot because I get like rashes under my arms.
Ken Moskowitz is telling us about Triple Action Gold Bond Medicated Powder.
It's cool. It's very drying. It absorbs a lot. Gold Bond Medicated Powder.
Gold Bond's Triple Action is the absorbing action of powder, the medicating action of a proven itch fighter, and the drying action of zinc oxide.
Gold Bond just makes me feel good when I get out of the shower. I like the product. I love it. I mean, it's great stuff.
Try Triple Action Gold Bond Medicated Powder.
Monday on day one, suddenly a frightening new face in Russia. Vladimir Zhirinovsky says he'll raise Russia from its knees, use nuclear weapons, get back Alaska. Who is this man? You'll meet him on day one. Then it's ABC's Monday Night Football, the Giants versus the Saints. Monday, football on day one.
Tuesday, even the critics agree. A poll of the nation's top television writers voted NYPD Blue the best show on television. NYPD Blue, Tuesday, viewer discretion advised.
In pro football, some teams had a chance to wrap up their divisions this weekend. They did it. San Francisco 49ers were on the road playing the Lions inside the Silverdome at Pontiac, Michigan. What did they do? They came out and won big. 354 yards passing by quarterback Steve Young. He didn't even play the whole game, but he did all this in 3 quarters. Look at that pass there to John Taylor, 68-yarder for a touchdown. The Lions, apparently they thought they only had to cover about a quarter of the field. Unfortunately, the 49ers were using the whole field. Look at this pass now. This is to Jerry Rice. Great grab there. Reaches up, keeps his balance. His knee does not go down. That is an 80-yard touchdown. Steve Young was only completed 17 passes, but he got these 354 yards in those 17 passes, and the 49ers, the NFC West champions. Houston Oilers were in Pittsburgh. A win would wrap up the AFC division for them. They're in the AFC Central. It was an emotional day as the Oilers were playing their first game since the suicide of tackle Jeff Alm. The Oilers came out strong. They also paid tribute to Alm, wearing his number on their helmets, number 76. They were fired up early. Houston jumped on the Steelers with this 38-yard pass from Warren Moon to Gary Brown. He goes in. It was 7-0 Oilers. Still in the first quarter, if the offense can score a 38-yard touchdown, so can the defense. Here's the interception by Bo Orlando, 38 yards. Houston has a 14-0 lead. They go on and beat the Steelers 26-17 and pick up the NFC Central Championship. Orlando Maggots? The Orlando Magic. Well, they don't look like maggots, do they? No, they look like the Magic. That's Anthony Hardaway. One of 3 Magic players with 16 points. They got that off the steal. Scott Skiles also had 16 points. Now, the only good news for the Kings is Bobby Hurley should be out of the hospital by Christmas Day. As for the game, 8 straight losses at home for the Kings. That's Shaquille O'Neal, who had 27 points, 17 rebounds. The Magic made the Kings disappear 97-91. At Edmonton, St. Louis Blues taking on the Oilers. The Blues won it 4-1 behind 3 goals. I believe that's known as a hat trick, right, Thalia, in hockey?
You got it.
Brett Hull had it, the son of the famous Bobby Hull. There's the breakaway past Craig Janey. Hull beat a hapless Bill Ranford for the 21st goal of the season. Here's a look at, did you follow any of that? In case you didn't, you can read it all right now. Here are Whoa, Santa's back in town.
He sure is.
That's sports for this half hour.
And coming up, political wisdom from the Brinkley Roundtable.
ABC's World News Now will continue after this from our ABC stations.
Bud Brady Ford has the best deal in Cleveland on your new Ford. I should know. I'm Jeff Brady, head of the Brady Bunch. We don't sticker with sticker. Every car and truck in stock is discounted with our low one-price sale price. We eliminate the hassle, which makes us one of the largest buying Ford dealers in the city. We're open Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come see the Brady Bunch today and get the best deal on your new Ford.
Bud Brady Ford, 8003 Broadway Avenue, Cleveland, not on the Auto Mile.
Murder of Polly Klaas rocked the nation. And then it was Angie Housman and Cassidy Center.
When you walk in a city morgue and see your child, my life was just ended at that point. To see my precious little angel like that.
We, as a civilized society, do not have to allow this to happen to our children. Is any child safe? Next, Oprah.
Monday at 4 on News Channel 5.
Probably a safe guess that what's on the minds of most Americans these days is not the various goings-on in Washington or in Moscow. Safe guess? If you're like most of us, the real concern is just how to get the Christmas shopping and preparations finished before December the 24th. But news never rests, so someone's got to do it. That means that the political wisdom, albeit decorated in the spirit of the season, is still served up on the Brinkley Roundtable, as it was yesterday, and the menu was full. There was plenty to discuss arising out of last week's activities, including a major change in the Clinton cabinet. That proved to be only the appetizer. Here now are excerpts from yesterday's Brinkley Roundtable discussion.
In a very stiff, polite, not to say stately little ceremony on the White House steps, Admiral Inman was appointed Secretary of Defense, though he stood there and said he didn't ask for the job and didn't want it. Couldn't we do better than that? Find somebody who wanted the job?
I think there's much to be said for filling the government with people who don't want the jobs.
If you can believe them.
If you can believe them, because they're apt to do them and then go home. Mr. Aspen, I think, liked by most people in town and respected for his wit and his intelligence, did find, I'm sure he had his faults, and it certainly is the case that running a $300 billion bureaucracy is rather unlike running a little congressional committee, even a big congressional committee. That said, the fact also must be said that the problems in American foreign policy are not in the stars, dear Brutus, and they're not in Mr. Aspen, they are in the commander-in-chief.
And in fact...
Could you be more specific?
Yes, Somalia, Bosnia, Haiti, mixed signals, inadequate connection of resolve with assets.
I'll tell you what the problem is, as every investigator knows, follow the money. The problem is in the Treasury. The problem is money. Yes, Les Aspen had his problems and his faults, but I'm convinced that what they need to do now is somehow convince the Congress that they can cut back in order to make up the shortfall. Now, if Dwight David Eisenhower were president, all he would have to say is, take my word for it, ladies and gentlemen, be all right. Bill Clinton can't do that, and Les Aspen couldn't do that. Arrive Bobby Inman, 4 stars. Everyone likes him, a military man. If he can be persuaded, and I assume the fix is in, to say to the Congress, to the Armed Services Committee, who will whoop through his nomination in about half a day, yes, we can, in fact, cut back the $31 billion or whatever is necessary. That is something they can do. Les Aspen couldn't have done it.
Do you think he is going to cancel these fighter planes?
It's money.
Discussed?
It's
cancel
money.
a nuclear submarine now being built?
There's no money for health care reform. And if this president isn't going to make it on foreign policy so far, if he can't make it as a domestic Franklin Roosevelt, and he can't do that without money.
But he could lose it on foreign policy, Sam.
Yes, he could. I agree.
And the fact is that Les Aspen, for all of his sort of rumpledness and all of that, is a very clear thinker. When you go to talk to him, he has outlines in his brain and sort of goes through policies and explains to you, you know, we would prefer 1. Our fallback position is 2. What will probably happen is 3. This is not a muddled man. And,
he did an excellent job.
And when they tried to do a bottom-up review of the military, what they found was that there was no foreign policy to base it on. You can't decide what you're going to cut and what you're going to fund until you know what you're trying to do. And if you don't know what you're trying to do, how can you make those decisions? And that is not coming from this White House or this State Department.
Well, in all due fairness to the president, I mean, he inherited from the Bush administration foreign policies which were anachronism. The Bush people hadn't yet been able to think through.
Everybody inherits a foreign policy, Sam.
What's that?
Every president inherits a foreign policy.
Yes, but for years during the Cold War, David, the foreign policy was pretty fixed. Hate the Russians, hate the dirty commies, and act accordingly. It's a little bit more difficult when you have to think at this point.
It is not more difficult, please. It is not more difficult to deal with Haiti, Somalia, and Yugoslavia than it was to deal with a nuclear-armed Soviet Union.
Oh, yeah, George, in those days, we didn't go to Somalia. I mean, all of our forces, we went to Vietnam, lost 58,000 American troops.
I think it is less black and white, certainly, but in our dealings with the nuclear-armed Russia, we don't seem to be doing very well either. I mean, that's the other huge foreign policy problem that's out there.
What's going to happen now if we have to suddenly twist back to George's side? I mean, this must be a godsend, this election for you and the conservatives who love the Cold War in Russia.
Very unhappy, Sam.
Well, it's dangerous. And if we now have to once again start shifting toward a huge defense, I mean, all health care, we're not going to be able to afford food.
Speaking as I'm not authorized to do for conservatives everywhere, let me just say that no one is excited by the fact that when at last the Russian people get a chance to vote, they cast 54% of their votes for a man who's probably a neo-Nazi, for communists and their allies. Now, there's a sense in which this man is a buffoon. He wants Alaska back, and he wants restitution for all the minerals we've taken out of
Well, that's not entirely
Alaska.
crazy. Alaska's
You know what he
full of
said?
oil.
For
It wouldn't be crazy if he was able to get it.
He wants blonde and blue-eyed people giving the news on
He
television.
wants to blow nuclear waste across the border into friendly countries that face Russia.
There are no friendly
And he
countries
says that
around
the
Russia.
anti-Semitism that occurs from time to time in Russia, of course, is caused by the Jews.
Zhirinovsky came out of the Russian election looking like something approaching a nut. Is that an overstatement?
Well, you know, some people say, well, he's Ross
First answer
Perot.
my question. Is that an overstatement?
No, it's not an overstatement, but that would be the good news, is if he was a kind of mixture of Ross Perot, Huey Long, Pujade, George Wallace, some kind of amalgam of protest votes. And everyone says, we mustn't compare this to Germany in the late 20s and early 30s. I say, let's compare it to Germany. Germany then suffered economic dislocation plus national humiliation. Germany was riven by anxieties about ethnic Germans outside of the Reich at that point. There were 25 million ethnic Russians living outside. Germany at that time was falling under the spell of a man who took himself to be the hyper-German. Of course, he was an Austrian, Mr. Hitler. This man, Zhirinovsky, was not a Russian either. But then Napoleon wasn't French. I mean, all these outsider troublemakers.
You're right,
I think there are lots
it's
of
Germany.
parallels.
You don't compare it. Some people say, well, it's the Kerensky era. No, you're right. Yeah. It's the Kerensky era in Russia before Lenin actually clamped down. But I agree, it's Germany.
George, you mentioned earlier an interesting point that 70% of black and Hispanic children in public schools are now, 70% of them, are in classrooms predominantly minority, which suggests that the integration we have been pursuing for years now is not successful. Well, what do you think? What do we do about it?
The means by which we pursued it, principally, for example, busing, was doomed. I mean, using yellow buses for social engineering to combat patterns produced by residential patterns, immigration patterns, birth rates.
Economics.
The lever was not up to moving that particular world. And it's time, it seems to me, to give up on that and concentrate on improving the public schools where the children live. Someone in Chicago the other day, looking at a school system that has about a $350 million deficit, said, why in heaven's name are we spending $75 million a year busing children sometimes up to 2 hours a day in a system that is now 12% white?
We should not give up on school integration. The lever hasn't moved yet. It moves slowly. It may not move at all, but it's too early to say.
Direction.
If we give up on school integration, then we give up on any possibility that future generations will be more enlightened than those of us who sit around here.
What's so interesting is that the place that's most segregated is the Northeast, I say as a Louisiana girl with some glee, and that the South is the most integrated. So laws do make a difference. If you have achieved in the space of 30 years truly integrated schools in the South, or much more integrated schools in the South than you have in the North, obviously having somebody come in from the outside and place orders has had an effect.
Let me say, first of all, Sam, what the Constitution enjoins is not an integrated society, although that is a value we all share. It enjoins a free society. And busing is a fairly significant excision from the sphere of freedom that people enjoy and cherish. Second, what we clearly want is to energize neighborhoods and energize parents to take seriously their local institutions, local schools, and you don't achieve that by busing people away from them.
What the Supreme Court said in 1954
has been unequal.
In 54, right, that the Constitution is interpreted that separate can never be equal.
A full menu of discussion around the Brinkley Roundtable yesterday while everyone else is preparing for Christmas, not necessarily paying attention to the news. Those folks are.
Doing what a lot of people will be doing at the end of the year, reevaluating the events that have gone on this year. That was yesterday's discussion of the Brinkley Roundtable, and that's probably just what you said.
Right, but I will say this is World News Now. We'll be back. Maybe both of us.
Sports all the time, when you need it. Updated every 10 minutes. Call the ABC Sports Board at 1-900-420-4ABC. For just 75 cents a minute, you'll hear the late-breaking scores, news, and events. Call the ABC Sports Board and stay on top of sports 24 hours a day. That's 1-900-420-4ABC. For only 75 cents a minute, you'll have a direct line to the wide world of sports when you call the ABC Sports Board.
When's the last time you tried Ovaltine?
I had it about 2 days ago. I like the flavor. I like the satisfaction that it gives me when I eat it, and the sense of well-being that goes with it, with the Ovaltine.
Just 2 glasses of classic Ovaltine and milk contain more than 10 essential vitamins and minerals, almost 100% of the daily recommended allowance of all these important nutrients.
It's very satisfying, and I know that what I'm drinking is helpful for me.
Classic Ovaltine tastes great, and it's great for you.
The business day is already over in Japan. To get the results of how they did, we go to Tokyo and get a little help from NHK's May Lee. Good morning, May.
Good morning, Boyd. Lingering worries over the instability of Japan's coalition government pushed major Tokyo stocks down today. The Nikkei slumped by 647, or 3.5%, to 17,404. The Topix followed by losing 43 to 1447. But the dollar continued its steady rise against the yen. Since August 17th, when the yen hit an all-time high of 101.25, it's been losing ground against the dollar. Today, the dollar gained 0.22 yen from New York to 110.27.
First half of this year, there is some political pressure from the states. Maybe the yen should strengthen because of Japan trade surplus. But now, even in dollar basis, the trade surplus is decreasing. So now, no more reason from the state side to cap the dollar yen rate.
Currency traders predict the dollar will hit the 115 to 120 level in the near future. In other regional markets, the Hang Seng is up by 202 points to 10,771. The Straits Times has gained 16 to 22.96. The rebuilding of the corrupt construction industry is getting underway. Sources say a government report due out tomorrow aims to create a more competitive open system that would be monitored by a third party. But even with the changes, the U.S. is still skeptical.
I'm hopeful that these procedures will provide international access to that market. There are, however, concerns that we have that may not be addressed by those announcements and the procedures that they put in place.
But the government says all major projects will be open to both domestic and overseas bidders. Japan's auto industry expects car imports to grow by 2.5% in 1994. The Japan Automobile Importers Association predicts sales of foreign-made cars will reach 200,000 units next year. That includes cars produced at Japanese plants overseas. A reason for the positive outlook are the lower prices due to the high yen. And that is Asia Business Now from Tokyo. Back to you in New York.
Thank you, May. Nice to see you started your week. Now we're trying to start ours. We can tell you what happened last week. The Dow Jones Industrials closed out Friday 37.51, gaining nearly 7 points for the entire week. And that's the news for this half hour.
Coming up for many of you, lots more World News Now. For some of you, it'll be World News This Morning.
Regis and Kathy Lee are getting ready for the holidays with some terrific guests this week on Live. Husband and wife team Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee. Teen heartthrob Brian Austin Green from Beverly Hills 90210. And pop star Bruce Hornsby.
Like to make you shake and shiver.
We'll also welcome Fran Drescher, the funniest nanny on television. On Friday, it's a very special Christmas Eve show, complete with Santa and his elves. That's this week on Live.
Monday at 10 on News Channel 5.
If you're gonna talk, you talk. We better walk the walk. Better walk the walk until our work is done. Yeah. There's a better world that we can be. If we all just take the time to reach out. Got to reach out and leave no child behind, yeah. Baby child, yeah. Leave no child behind. Please, leave no child behind. Leave no child behind. Don't you know we're talking about our children? Leave no child behind.
I'm Bert Kay, president of Volks. This Christmas, get the jewelry you really want. See our high-quality jewelry unredeemed from pawn. We must liquidate these fine men's and ladies' diamond rings, bridal sets, cocktail rings, gold chains, watches, and more, all at a small fraction of their actual value. For the Christmas gift you thought you couldn't afford, see me, Bert Kay, at Volks, 417 Prospect, right downtown.
It's Monday, December the 20th, and in the news this morning, Israel releases more Palestinian deportees after several days of questioning and a year of forced exile in southern Lebanon. Out of Somalia, out of the hospital, Army helicopter pilot Michael Durant returns to his hometown, a hero. And Buffalo stampedes the Dolphins in the highest-scoring NFL game this season.
From ABC News, this is World News This Morning. Now from our headquarters in New York, Thalia Ashuris.
Good morning, everyone. A week after the Israeli army was supposed to be pulling out of Gaza and Jericho, Israel and the Palestinians are making a new effort to resolve their differences. One reminder of the past is being removed with the Israeli army's release of former Palestinian deportees. We get the story from ABC's Dean Reynolds.
It's been a year since they were banished to Lebanon. Israel allowed the fundamentalists back into the occupied territories as a gesture to the Palestinian people. But the deportees have spent much of their year in exile denouncing the Israeli PLO peace accord and encouraging violence against Jews. And it is no secret that Hamas, the organization to which most of the deportees belong, is a serious rival to the PLO and Yasser Arafat for the allegiance of the Palestinians under occupation. Their support for the peace accord has eroded as the Israeli army has tightened its grip on Gaza and the West Bank instead of beginning to withdraw in line with the agreement. Today, at a diplomatic reception in Jerusalem, Israeli Foreign Minister Peres and Prime Minister Rabin were discussing the latest efforts to kickstart the negotiations. Over the weekend, Mr. Peres met with PLO officials in Oslo, Norway, in an attempt to bridge the gap between both sides. But this morning, no one is reporting any serious progress. The problem involves Israel's insistence on retaining control of border crossings into Egypt from Gaza and Jordan from the West Bank. The Israelis see the issue as a security matter, and yesterday, the cabinet unanimously backed Rabin's position.
We are definitely determined upon everything that's related with what we call security or guaranteeing security of us.
And with Palestinian protests heating up again, Israelis are getting a daily reminder of how important security can be. Dean Reynolds, ABC News, Tel Aviv.
A bomb, police say was the work of the IRA, went off in Londonderry, Northern Ireland yesterday. A passing army patrol escaped unhurt, as did 5 people in a nearby car. It was the first major bombing since a joint British-Irish peace plan was proposed for Northern Ireland last week. The bombing came just hours after a warning from Irish Prime Minister Albert Reynolds. He said if the Irish Republican Army rejects the peace plan, it can expect even tougher measures to be taken against it. For decades now, the Republic of Ireland has supported Britain's fight against violence by the IRA and its Protestant enemies. ABC's Charles Glass has the full story.
Although the IRA seeks to unite the North and South, the Irish government in Dublin rejects.
Coming up next on News Center 8, a second term and a swearing in for Cleveland Mayor Michael White with his agenda of change.
How parents can check up on what their children are checking out at the library will explain a new service.
In sports, the Badgers are rolling in roses.
And in the weather, the snow will be rolling in once again.
News Center 8 is next.
This is CBS.
This past year has changed our lives in Northeast Ohio in profound ways. Cleveland's own News Center 8 has chronicled those changes, the changes that were 1993.
Here on the shoreway, the vehicles are scattered like toys. Even the emergency vehicles are getting stuck.
The group of children were walking alongside this winding country road. 5 were killed when a car slammed into them.
This is what residents in Cleveland's Slavic Village woke up to this 4th of July morning.
Now, John Demjanjuk is preparing for his flight to freedom.
When these child molesters do get out of prison, you need to know that your children are at risk if they come anywhere near them.
The mayhem began with gas fumes spreading from the explosion site from a huge fireball.
Levine believes Angelada's insanity ruling was done as a favor to Milano to keep Levine out of prison.
The baseball at the Cleveland Stadium is now history. A lot of years, yes, a lot of tears, but mostly a lot of memories.
Tim Taylor, weeknights at 6 and 11 on Cleveland's own News Center 8.
From Cleveland's own 24-hour newsroom, Kelly O'Donnell, Wayne Dawson, John Telich on sports, and Mark Kuntz with weather. This is Cleveland's own News Center 8.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
And here's what's happening. A new year, new hopes, and a new 4-year term. That's what Cleveland Mayor Michael White enjoyed as he was officially sworn into a second term today. Coming off a landslide election victory in November, White challenged Clevelanders to join him in a vision for change by working together. Unity and reform were major themes in Mayor White's inaugural speech at Music Hall. He says some ideas may not be popular or easy to accept, but the social problems facing Cleveland